program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid health insurance program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Hello, welcome to the Ghana Agenda. Today is Saturday, the 21st May of 2022. My name is Alfred Amuzu, presenting straight from our Arcos radio studios in the Washington, D.C. area. Today, we are talking about two very important topics that have just recently occurred in Ghana. The first one being the demonstration we witnessed on the news coming from Nkoranza, where the youth of Nkoranza, in response to one of the extrajudicial killings of a gentleman called Albert Donkor, has caused a clash between them and the police. And we are going to interrogate whether the police has misconducted themselves and what are the ways, perhaps the government should be addressing this type of occurrences. This is becoming too many. We witnessed back in 2018 similar situations in Kumasi where the police had a clash with the youth. We also saw what happened in Ejura when the youth demonstrated because of the killing of the gentleman who belongs to the Fix the Nation group. And that has also saw shooting into the crowd, etc. So recently, though, that we've seen the police try to work on their image, we saw Dampari going down the streets, trying to relate with people better, trying to take that stink or that fear of police, trying to change people's mindsets so that they can actually be closer to the police. With all these efforts, we still see the police shooting into the crowds, beating people during demonstrations, and sometimes arresting people, locking them up, and then we find out the people died. We still keep seeing police engage in bullion van robberies, and this is becoming one too many. So we are going into the details of that. We'll be discussing that today. If you're watching and you know somebody who's maybe interested in the show, please share the link so they can also join us. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. Today I'll be joined by my very good friends, Lifetime Legacy and Efa Amaya of the MPP, to break down the issues we are tabling for discussion. The second issue we'll talk about is e-levy has been implemented at least for the last 21 days. How are we faring? How is that whole program going? Have you had experience with e-levy? If you had, please let us know. We understand that even people who are paying or transacting amount less than the threshold are still being charged e-levy. So we want to kind of capture people's experience, see what is wrong with the program, what can be done to improve it, what aspect of it is actually going smoothly. And then we want to understand what these fundings or these monies, when gathered, would be used for. So if you're watching and you've had such experiences with whether e-levy, you've paid funds, or you've had funds deducted from your transactions that shouldn't be deducted, what has your experiences? Please put your comments in the comment box and we'll be ready to read that out. Or, matter of fact, close to the end of the program, I would bring on a number to call so that you can also contribute to join the program, and let's make it a successful discussion. Without further ado, let me take a quick break. And when I come back, I can see already Lifetime Legacy in the studio. I would love to introduce him, and also as we wait on FR to join us so that we can start the conversation. Again, this is the Ghana Agenda, a political show dedicated to issues occurring in Ghana. If this is the first time you're watching us, please subscribe. We'll be right back.
Just one more pic, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama. Really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
All without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT 1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT 1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download the app or visit worldremit.com.
All right, World Remit is a better way to transfer money. If you have, by the way, anything transferred through World Remit is not subject to e-levy, or foreign remittances are not submitted to e-levy. We'll go into the details of what is subject to e-levy and what is not, and how the program is faring so far. We understand that any program that is, being rolled out for the first time would, encounter some difficulties, and, same is happening with e-levy, but we're going to specifically what the experiences have been, what are we seeing with this implementation. But the first thing we really want to talk about today is policing, security situations in our country, and how policing is going. It wasn't long ago when our former president of the United States, Barack Obama, was in Ghana, and one of the things he said is that we should build strong institutions so that it doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter whether it's Dumperi in charge, or Akufo-Addo in charge, or Mahama in charge. It does not matter who the IGP is or who the president is, that we should build strong institutions that will be able to execute, to provide and deliver on the social goods for which, or the social contracts that the governments or the people who are governing us have actually gone into with us. Even though there may not be anything signed between us, but there is some implicit understanding out there that we have a social contract with the government, and the government's part of that bargain is to deliver social goods like policing. What are we seeing? So the facts of this issue is the Nkoranza issue is this. A gentleman called Albert. All right, let me bring in my guy, and then I would, okay. Hey, Lifetime Legacy, welcome to the show. Quickly introduce yourself, and then I'll go into laying down the facts of the issues that we will be discussing today.
Thank you so much, Alfred. My name is Apollo Gaston, an NDC member, USA, and also a member in Ghana, a past executive of my constituency called Ablikuma West. Yeah, so that is brief information about me.
All right, perfect. So the two things I want us to talk about today is the demonstration that we witnessed on our TV screens coming from Nkoranza. All right. This is somewhere in the Bono East Region. We know that a gentleman, a young man called Albert Donkor, was arrested with the allegations that he's been suspected of robbery, or he has been engaged in armed robbery. Now, the gentleman did not, according to the story, actually partake in any robbery, and he was actually, whisked away in the middle of the night from his home and did not return. And when inquiries were made of the police, apparently the gentleman was found dead. And accusations are that the police killed him. So the youth of the town, Nkoranza, decided to demonstrate, and they gathered themselves. We understood that the police inspector came out to say that a couple of other groups from Kumasi decided to join in with pump action guns, etc., and face off with the police. This demonstration occurred. So far, one additional person has since passed as part of the demonstration and 9 injured. Matter of fact, my understanding is that a gentleman who was riding his motorbike was asked to stop, and when he didn't stop, he was shot in the back by the police. So this raises all kinds of questions. What type of policing are we getting in Ghana? In the United States, for instance, we see similar actions where the police are usually very aggressive towards the population. Is that the same thing in Ghana? And what can we do about this? These are the questions I have for us to actually talk about today. So let me start with you as we wait for our brother Efa to also join the discussion. What have you so far heard about the demonstration or the reasoning for it? What I've heard is that this gentleman, Albert Donkor, really wasn't even part of the people who were involved in the armed robbery at all, that he was, just picked up in the middle of the night in an unmarked vehicle, and all of a sudden didn't return home, and the parents went to inquire his whereabouts and was found to be dead. Is that the same thing you heard?
Alfred, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the show today. I also extend my greetings to our viewers and listeners across the globe. Once again, we are here to discuss issues and matters regarding our country. That a place that you and I can call home one day. So it is of concern that anything that happens, regardless of wherever we find ourselves, we add our voice to the discussion. Because as the saying goes, there's no place like home. At the end of our toil and sacrifices all over the world, we will still definitely go home one day. And whatever the situation is there, as far as our home is concerned, we also own it a responsibility to make sure they are in a good and safe way, so that you and I in the future will not be a victim of the very thing we are discussing today. Alfred, I was expecting the Ghana police to exhibit their motto, which says that service with integrity. It looks like under the leadership of Nana Donkor, policing in Ghana had becoming worse. I am not in any way trying to suggest that there were no issues during the Fourth Republic, or this is the first issue during this Fourth Republic. But it looks like during under the era of Rawlings, there were police issues. Just to mention a few, it was an issue during the era of Kufuor. Lots of demonstrators were mishandled. By when the CJ were demonstrating, the police go extra mile to use all sorts of force they can on the citizenry. It continued to the past government, and then the situation has gotten out of hand under this current regime. Alfred, when you look at the issues that are happening within under the Nana Donkor Bawumia-led administration, you notice that the way Ghana police are conducting themselves, you can clearly say that or see that there are bad elements or bad nuts have gone to miss them. I am not in any way saying that the previous policing were good, but when you look at the situation currently, it's worse. we now have police officers who are leaving their beard, police officers who are in a earring, police officers who are in a earring and a whole lot of things, who are even do dread, which for me, it's unusual of Ghana Police Service. So this clearly tells me that it is party vigilantes that have found their way into the police service. So any least opportunity they get, and they have, because they have access to gun, they try to abuse it. We have similar situation even where an MP was slapped during Ayawasuba election by some of these vigilante in the name of policing. We also know how Kaka was handled, the bullion van robbery that took place at Accra. The people who were police officers involved in alleged involved in part of the killing of their fellow police officer. When the issue was to be investigated, finally the police found a way to conceal the evidence by killing the two people who were key suspects to lead to the arrest of the other people. So clearly, when you look at the situation, you notice clearly that it is not being perpetrated by genuine police officers, but party fools who are in the uniform. Like you mentioned in the intro, a Jura situation, when you compare it with what is happening in Nkoranza, there's no difference. The mode of operandi or the way things went on at a Jura is the same thing that is happening in Nkoranza. So it clearly gives us a fair idea that until we weed out the party faithfuls and the vigilante in the police service, these are some of the results we'll be getting day in, day out. And what even struck me most is the police defense, the letter they issue or the press letter they issue to the general public trying to defend their action, which completely turned out to be false. They try to create a scenario like the gentleman was caught in an armed robbery, and in the course of doing that, he exchanged gun with the police, and the police also in returns killed him. That is the picture they try to portray. But it was later turned out that the guy was picked from his bedroom. He was sleeping. They went into his bedroom, searched all over, and they found nothing. And they dragged him out of the house. The parents and relatives were all over looking for him, and they could not find him. And just to be told that the guy had been killed.
Right.
So, in defense, instead of the police have to admit of wrongdoing, they rather decided to throw dust or lie to the general public, which for me I find it very unfortunate and very distasteful. So, Alfred, I think the government have a responsibility to win out their party elements or the bad note in the police service, so that we can have a good service that can give actual and adequate protection to our citizens. You and I are not safe when things like this continue. So we also have a duty to point out to the government when they err, so that the right thing will be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that elaborate tour of some of the things that we've seen in recent times from our police service. Welcome to the show. What I've been trying to understand is how we got here to where, in getting protection from the police, they have tend to be the antagonizers. They have tend to be the ones who, when there's a robbery, their names come up as the perpetrators. What should we be doing, or where did we go wrong? If you can help me.
Thank you very much, Amuzu. Very glad always to be here to contribute our quota towards the development of the country. So I think that the choice of words we want to repolish some of the way we are trying to put them into. Yes, no two ways about the fact that There has been cases that the police have been identified as the source of those criminal activities, in which cases the bullion van. If we want to say that if anything goes wrong with them, then it's necessarily them. I think we will not be fair to them. The bullion van case, yes, I came to say that the way the whole operation was conducted, it was a sham. It was a clear case of an internal something. You see, the people who are within, they try to wipe the evidence, and that is exactly what they did in the bullion van. And I agree with them. I agree with Lifetime because it is the same thing, but don't try to link them up with all their operations. You see, you will not be doing justice to the topic. Let's look at the Ayawaso. It's a case. Demonstrators or elections was going on and something happened. So let's deal with that in that context. And then let's try to find similar acts, and then we do that in same fashion. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. So if you hear anything in the background, forgive me. Yeah. So if I pick the bullion van and I pick this one, this Nkoranza case, it is similar. The circumstances, the police explanation of it, it's all not justified. And I think that I agree. You see, we need to, this will erode the confidence we have in the police and the confidence we are having in the IGP. It will begin to wane down. It is very unacceptable, the circumstances under which these have been handled. It goes on to confirm that there are indeed most of the security challenges we have in the country are from the security agencies themselves. And therefore, it is important that, in fact, an overhaul. We gotta be serious about this, or this is where it leads to something else. See, I don't want to pronounce certain things here, but it is leading towards a particular direction. For those who have security knowledge and knows where it is leading to, there are criminal elements within the police force. It happens. There are bad elements everywhere. But those bad elements, so long when it comes to light, they need to be taken care of. And we haven't heard anything about the bullion van, and then this happened. Everything points to the fact that the police is doing this.
Would you agree that the bad elements have gotten even to the highest, some of the highest positions within the ranks?
I will not be surprised.
Yes, otherwise we should be hearing.
I won't be surprised.
Right.
And I'm tempted to even mention some of the positions because of the way, you see, if you check the trend and if you know security issues and the fact that, you know, nothing is being done, it points to a particular direction within the force. And those are highly, highly connected people. And therefore, if we don't act, if we don't fish them out, it's going to bite us. And Ghana is going to pay a huge price for that. Security, and people are behaving like this, you are a dead man walking. Yeah, it's serious and it's very important.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So for this particular gentleman, my understanding is he was supposed to have been part of the robbery group, robberies operation, and then he was picked. But it's not only him. We've seen instances of people being picked and killed in the custody of the police.
Alfred, there was also an issue that the reason why the police handled the guy in this manner, he traveled to a certain part of the region, and when he was returning, the very people who went to pick him up, he saw them in the act of robbery. So he had that as an evidence against them. And when he also got home, he wasn't silent. He was telling people close to him and people that he knew about what he had saw. So the police got the intelligence of he narrating what he saw to the community. So that is the main reason why they went after him.
Well,
so let's use this opportunity to educate people when you come into a situation like that. If you see any big man getting involved in criminal activities. You don't go straight away, go on radio and mention the name and say or go. You see, if you listen to how he was doing it, he was going to end up this way. No two ways about that. Because mind you, criminal elements also have their ears on the ground. So once they hear that their activities are coming out, they will come and take care of it. And then they took care of him. So if anybody is listening, you've seen a very powerful figure, a police or security forces, policemen, soldier men, engage in whatever. They are the ones doing the galamsey. They are the ones doing this. You don't go out straight up and shouting in the villages, this person, that person. No. You keep it to your cool. You gather as much evidence as possible. And if you want to be patriotic enough, you begin to find out who you can confide in. And one of the best people you can confide in is some journalists. You know, you first have to report to a journalist. And one journalist I can give you, his name is Ben Avle. You can tag others with whatever, but you can try to find out, get Ben's number, get I don't know. I mean, maybe some
Manasseh would also do it.
Come into Manasseh, yeah, come into some other, get their number and forward the evidence to them. Use use an anonymous buy a phone, use it, text them and throw the chip away. Give them as much details as possible, and then you throw the phone away. That's how you operate as a security officer. That's how you give evidence to the public. But you go, you identify yourself as Kakape Ifamiao, and you talk blah blah with bossiness, and the next day you'll be 6 feet.
Afa, let me ask you this: how does this make you feel as a Ghanaian? Even though you are not in Ghana, you're sitting in the United States hearing about this. How does this make you feel? Does it make you feel a little secure, a little insecure, or extremely outraged?
All of it. So I have begun to talk to my, I have my wife and kids back home. So I've begun to talk to them about certain security tips, and it is very, very important. Don't walk alone. Make sure, you don't pick strangers' numbers. There's a whole lot of that. We can talk about these things, or I can share some of these tidbits with you. So when you hear things like this, you begin to first advise your family and friends or when you get to platforms like this, you begin to talk to them. And then the second thing ought to be that what are the authorities doing about these things? And it is very important.
But I want to kind of your feelings. Then we're going to.
It makes you feel insecure because those who are supposed to take care of you. I am not surprised anyway. Knowing what I know about all these things, I am not surprised. But you see, you can have your suspicion, and then when your suspicion becomes acted, then it makes you say what? And then outrage, yes, because at the end of the day, it is my party that is in power, it's my government that is in power, and so if we don't act, if we are not seen to be doing something about it, then then what else? Because we have a duty to protect the good people of Ghana. We had a duty to wean out the bad nuts in the various parts of the government setup and all that kind of stuff. And security ought to be topmost. Security. Did you hear what happened in Biden's case? So when presidents are going anywhere, there is a dispatch that is sent to go and lay down the security apparatus and make sure it is safe for the president to come.
Right.
One of the guys went, off duty, had a drink, and was threatening a South Korean citizen and stuff like that. It got in the news and straight up.
Right.
It's been brought back home, replaced, quick as possible. You don't joke with security issues. This might not have any effect on the presidential, but other aspects. It may affect other ones. So when it comes to security, it's number one. Even before you eat and health, it's very, very important because you're going to sit down and eat. If something is going to hit you from the top of your head, then what is it? You're going to sit down to eat. If somebody is going to come and kill you, then what else it is? So it is number one.
Right.
And all others are dependent on it. So I mean all of what you said.
Okay, perfect. Let me go to Lifetime Legacy with the same questions. How does this make you feel as a Ghanaian, perhaps with family back home, who's also concerned about their safety? How does this type of news make you feel?
Alfred, before I come back to answer your question,
Yeah.
I have this to say. You see, gone are the days before somebody is recruited into police service, a thorough background check is done. You notice that they start a thorough investigation about the person's background, his school days, his home life, community life, and that kind of thing. All those things are no more. By the time you realize, I can give you a lot of evidence where, when I was a youth organizer of my constituency, there were people I knew who could not even write their name or spell or write their name. By the time I find out, some of them are in a uniform. You get it? Because their party was in power and they were able to, because they have a little muscles, they have gone to the gym and have do a few metal lifting. They find themselves to the police service.
Yeah.
I
want us to come back to what the causes are, or what do we think are the reasons for this. But I want to capture how you sitting here further away from Ghana feel about this type of things, especially I know you also have family at home. How do you feel? With
I feel jittery, I feel unsafe. I feel the way things are going, it could happen to any of my relatives, any of my friends, it could happen to anybody that I know or very close. So I think the government have a duty of have to reorient or have to go back to do a little background check on those in a uniform, those who have already in the service. If people within the service can be asked to monitor the behavior and the actions of each service or force member, or they go back to do investigation about the very thing that they were supposed to do before they were recruited, that were not done. If they can do those things and then win the bad nuts, it will be very, very helpful. However, there is also one thing which is also of a concern. The rate at which gun is becoming too common in Ghana. It's also something we should be very, very concerned as people who are living in the diaspora. I am saying this because in the past, there is a commission called Small Arms and Weapons Commission. Periodically, they invite the citizens who are holding, having a gun unlawfully. They try to get all those guns from the system and then burn them. Now, those things are no more. And the guns that are in the hands of individuals is becoming too scary. It might not be a police officer who will come after you, but
it could be a ordinary citizen who's also in possession of a weapon.
Absolutely.
But you know, the gun conversation, it's definitely one that needs to be had. And I know there were times in Ghana that I think right after is it the June 4th uprising or so, there were incentives to people to bring their guns and give them to the government, and then the government compensated people or something like that. That was done before. Perhaps that might be a way for us to deal with this issue. But the gun conversation could also go the other way, which is if we all have guns, then it's become difficult for you to become somebody's victim. You know what I mean? Because when the person approaches you and is trying to rob you, and the only thing that tips the power to them is the fact that they have a gun, you can equalize if you also have a gun. So the gun conversation is one that can go either way.
So, Alfred, I'm of opinion that, let me tell you, today I even got a bad news that a nephew of mine was gunned down by his PS in Virginia. As I speak, the funeral is being held in Virginia. So, is it what that I want to say is that if we all don't have it, there won't be a need for allowing others to have it. Okay, you and I can afford a gun, but to what necessary will it help having it in our society? You get it? Because the moment you have it, it comes with its own temptations. You get it? So for me, the only way we cannot be safe is for the government to find a way of retrieving weapons from the system to make sure people who are not legit to own gun have it, who are having it, and they are all taken out of the system. That is the only way you and I can walk on the streets of Accra or walk on the street of Kumasi or everywhere in Ghana. Because if not, the moment there is this perception, the moment you have traveled and you have come back, there might be this perception that you have a lot of money, you have a lot of resources. And people who have not lived life, absolutely, people who have not worked before may even come after you. So the only way some of these things can be dealt with is to withdraw the guns or to ask citizens to surrender their guns that they have illegally, and the government taking a proper approach to retrieve all guns from the system. That can also give investors the confidence that Ghana is also be a safe place where you can walk free without being harmed by anybody. I mean, those are some of the things, regardless of which government is in power, we need to do that. The name and the way things are going now is becoming too bad.
Yeah. So what I want us to do for the rest of for the next 20 minutes is look at, and we're going to start from afar. I want us to look at how did we get here. I want us to concentrate on what happened. Is it a recruitment? Is it because of availability of guns everywhere? What exactly actually happened for us to actually get here? This wasn't the case before. And then after that, I want us to look at what should the government be doing? And beyond what the government should be doing, what should citizens also be doing? Because this is a partnership. We have to be able to help our government to help us resolve this type of issues. So let's start with you. How did we get here? Is it availability of guns? Is it vigilantes being brought into the forces? What exactly went wrong?
So we've always see this perception of illegals is just happening. Take it off your head. Crime has always been. In fact, if you trace crime, it is when you are prosperous, it is when you are showing signs of prosperity, you get more attacks criminally. That is a basic fact. So the people that are able to avoid it are the people that are conscious of it, and those that don't show off. So you don't even know that you have money, or you have this, or you are prospering, or whatever. So prosperity in itself attracts enemy, attracts criminals, and people you are investing in business. Somebody just won. It is a normal thing.
I think what you're trying to say is, if one person is getting prosperous, and others around that person are now equally having their share of such prosperities, then it kind of breeds envy. It breeds, let me just go and take it from him, sort of where you will see people attacking others. But if the economy is doing well,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Okay, you see, the other one is even bad. Where, like in our situation, where you see there is not equal distribution of what we have as a country for everybody to enjoy. That one is even dangerous, because you see the criminal, right? The criminal first is coming and sneaking to come take it from you. But when he has the perception that you have what belongs to him, he doesn't. He is even more emboldened in that perspective. So the normal one is there. Else over here we wouldn't have cases of bank robbery and certain other robbery, pickpocketing in downtown and all these kind of stuff.
We are about 7.
These are.
I think we are 7.
These are normal way of human life. It happens, and you always have to be careful when you are prospering. Okay. So with the scenario that you gave, it is the duty of the managers of the economy to put structures in place that they don't become targets. But for me, if they are not doing well, and if they are the targets, me, I don't care. I don't really care about that. I'm not mean. I care about the innocent getting attacked. But these our leaders, when they target them, forgive me. I mean, I don't have remorse for them at all, because you should have been in a position. You see, some of us, right, we do some of these things in our community because you don't want to one day go there. They know you, Kakapemi, I'm everywhere, and then you don't help with community development, and you go one day you will see. But if somebody is planning, you see, sometimes among them they are planning to do. They call you, oh, this one there, no, don't go to this guy. It happens. There are testimonies like that. No, this one there, you do. I'm going to took you out because this guy has been helping us. He's this, he's not. Let's go look for someone else. These are normal, practical things in our life. So it is the duty of the rich, the people that are resourceful, to also make sure that the society functions for all of us to benefit. It is very, very important. The second aspect is normally people are lazy. People want the easy way out of that, so they will do these things. The third thing is when the society lacks in terms of control and stuff like that. You know, in America, we talk about gun violence. One person has a gun like a rebel leader in America, and when they go crazy, you see these things happen. Right? They shoot themselves all over. In Chicago, they're killing themselves left, right, center. So you need to control, because you see, it's an easy reach to do whatever you want to do. Gun is an easy reach to kill your anger. It's an to go do whatever it is, and criminals use it to also get through there. But you see, before they come with bare hands, now they come armed, and they know, and they are tactical. It is like a trained criminal. Now, if you look at the trend, right, most of it is also looks more foreign than the Ghanaian. The Ghanaian want to sneak come and take something and go away. But the way it's getting sophisticated, I want to have the suspicion. I don't have the evidence, but I'm just making analysis and looking at that. There has been some infiltrations from countries that we know are high level, you know, they know how to do things. But it is up to you to also make sure that your borders and people that are coming in are secured, and that you track everybody down there. The ordinary citizen cannot do that.
In most instances, what is scary is that when, you know, the criminal or the robbers are arrested, they turn out to be the police. And that is where you see the sophistication.
No, don't say most. It's not most. Some of the criminal activities turn out to be police. No two ways about that. But
the particular case that, you know, brought about this whole discussion is the one the Nkoranza case, right? And
yeah, no two ways about that. And the bullion case, no two ways about that police are involved. No two ways about that.
Yeah, so the suspicion about the Nkoranza case is that Albert Donkor had observed a robbery, and that his suspicion is that the robbers perhaps was part of the security forces, and that is how he came to arrest him. So it is not far-fetched to say that the sophistication we see around, even the type of robberies that are occurring lately, seem to be more enforced by, or seems to enforce our thinking that most of those robberies, those sophisticated ones, usually are being conducted by the security forces.
That I agree with you. Perfect. You're perfect on that. You're right on that. I will agree with you on that. And they themselves have to do, because you see, the criminal stuff work this way. They go, they don't get, or even among themselves, they will become targets. Among them, the criminals themselves, they can become targets. It's a normal process of human life. If they don't know about the way human beings think, they will come after you. So it is your duty to clean inside. It is your duty to make sure that this institution is for that purpose. You know, you can't weed all of them out. But when it is glaring like that, they really, Tampere needs to really look internal and clean internally. Because the bullion van case, I've not seen what they've done as far as that thing is concerned. The people that led that operation, they are the first suspect. And this one too.
Beyond the bullion one, we have the Ejura one, we have the Tamale one.
Yeah.
We have, so these cases are becoming too many.
Yeah. And the recruitment is also very important. Those days, the police and the army were for Abongo. They call them Abongo. It is like you are not doing anything in life. So go to the army, go fight and be killed or something like that. Or go to the police and help us with security. But not in this modern, sophisticated time. No way. Okay?
But even if you go to the criteria, it requires that for a person to be enrolled or enlisted into the police force or the army, that they have some basic education, all right? That they are, at a minimum, have a secondary school education. Isn't that the case?
There was an armed robber, right, that was interviewed recently. He had a degree, and the guy was highly brilliant, and his was to scam people. And the way he sits down and drafts scam, and when he drops it, you can't. You see, I hate to say this, but that is true. You see, we can't rule criminality out of our lives, right? The control of it is what makes America and all these countries great. They control it. When they catch you, they will deal with you. You can't rule it out. But if you don't control it, if you see an armed robber and you think that person is your sibling, is your brother or sister, so you are not going to report, oh, one day you are a dead man, because they are ruthless and stuff like that. So they've gone to, criminals have gone to university, criminals have PhD, criminals have when we talk about that, we talk about people who sign with their pen and steal. But most of these people are sitting somewhere and also taking some big money. You know, they have people recruited behind the scene working for them and making all this. The long and short of it is that what has brought discussion points to the fact that there's an internal criminal gang. They need to work on that. It is very important.
Okay, thank you so much. Lifetime, what in your view it's the cause of this? How did we get here? If I alluded to the fact that maybe the recruitment should be watched, the economic situation can be a contributing factor. Even some highly educated persons who he said are members of the armed forces tend to also be one of the criminals, and they are a lot more sophisticated with the schemes that they would execute. What do you think?
Yeah, we go here because the society is now glorifying wealth. You see, regardless of how you make your wealth, society tends to respect you more than somebody who is not wealthy. So people are trying to use all manner of ways and means, dubious ways, to make money so that they also be appreciated or recognized in the society. That is what has brought us to where we are now. Alfred, let me cast my mind back, or let me take your memory back to before Rawlings or J.J. Rawlings exit power. They were crime, but the level of crime, as far as this thing is concerned, has not gotten to the magnitude we see today. You get it? Politicians can also be part of the blame. The way somebody just assume that you have somebody who is your classmate, all of a sudden you have gotten a good job, you are doing, you are living well. He began to question himself. I know our friend, we all started the same way. How come he has been able to make it and is being recognized within the society, where I'm being considered as the lazy one, I'm being considered as somebody I'm not appreciated within the society. So people will find a way of getting to enrich themselves, regardless of whatever way they go, at the expense of others. And the churches, the religious organizations we have today, when you go to church and you are wealthy, different the seat you sit on. So these are some of the contributing factors. For instance, you are interested in the media.
So you are saying that there's some social decay where value is assigned to the wrong things. Like people really are not necessarily the wrong thing, but value, there's too much more value placed on your financial status in society, so that you are forced to be rich by any means necessary, including if you have to be engaged in robbery or you have to actually kill people just to be rich, you are tempted to do so. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because that is what the society for now seems to recognize. They don't care how you made it. You get it. And just imagine the funny part of it is that there's a lady, very beautiful lady, you are interested, but because even though regardless of how intelligent and how hardworking you are, because you don't have a Toyota Corolla or you don't have a car driving, you don't own no house, you live in an apartment, when you approach that lady, I mean, the kind of reception you get vis-a-vis a criminal who will go and rob others, the kind of the reception that person will get, you notice that it's different. So our society have been so decayed to the extent that the way values are being placed on people who are perceived to be rich, who are perceived to be resourceful, are one of the contributing factors to where we are today.
Okay. Would you also say social media has caused this societal attachment of status to riches? Would you say social media has exacerbated that or have made it worse?
Sorry. Yeah, social media factor can not be ruled out. But when you look at the trend as far as Ghana is concerned, I have lived, I'm more than 40 years, okay. So I have been able to see a few things under Rollins. I've been able to see a few things under before. You get it? So you notice that when Ghana adopted the means of democratic system, the level of crime is beginning to increase gradually. I am not saying that there wasn't a crime during under Rollins. That is not what I'm saying. But when we came under this fourth republic, you notice that the crime from 1996, 2000, it began to increase gradually. And we are also being influenced by our neighboring countries, the big boys. If I say big boys, you know the kind of people I'm referring to.
You're talking about Nigeria. Cool.
You've mentioned them. You see the kind of things they are doing in our country, the kind of training, some of the way Ghanaians are doing these things now, I can confidently tell you that they got that kind of training and that confidence to go and attack people for money. They got it from these neighboring borders.
Yeah, because the belief is that Ghanaian is a little bit more timid. But you are saying that is no more the case.
That absolutely
are bold and are taking on much more risk than they used to, and that is because of the influence that we are getting from the cultural neutralizations, or the people traveling in and bring on their own set of training backgrounds, belief systems, and all that is beginning to impact the attitude of the Ghanaian.
So you notice in the past, when somebody is doing something and is caught by a knife or even a blade, you see, people around become so jittery. Or I mean, Ghanaians fear to see a human life or a blood, somebody's blood being shed. You get it? So, but now that kind of fear and that kind of sympathy and empathy towards each other has gradually faded. Now it is like everyone for himself, regardless of how you succeed in life. It is you. So that is what has brought us to where we are. And the social media aspect has add eyes to the cake. So I think what we need to do in means of solution.
You can hold on what we need to do for now. Let me take that from Efa first, and then we'll come to Efa. Are you able to talk to me? What do you think we should be doing, Efa? Whether from the perspective of the government and even us, the people, how can we help tame this canker? Okay, I believe Efa is not ready. So, Lifetime. Okay.
Sorry about that. What was the again? What did you say?
I was saying that we are not trying to look at what should we be doing. What should the government do? What should the people do? What should parents do? What should the teachers do? What should the religious leaders do? What can we do together to ensure that this canker is tamed? That first of all, recruitment into the police is appropriate, that the police are well behaved, that the people, the guns, all the things that are kind of making our society chart this wrong path? How do we bring this under control?
Number one, we must have this concept in mind that the criminal is closer to us than we think. That is the number one goal. So have that security conscious mind when you work with like that. Sometimes we go to places and I tell people, hey, let's watch it, let's not do this. Say, well, you are 2 days late. Okay. One day you come and thank me for that. So let us have that in mind. The second thing is that take your security into your own hands. Say there's an armed robbery. Before you get hold of police, they have done whatever they're going to do. So what I do is that I don't have guns in my house, right? But I have, the spray bottle.
The pepper spray.
Pepper spray bottle. So I have the pepper spray within reach. Try to conceptualize, especially where you sleep. When you reach down your bed, you can take it in, and something to do something just to disable the distance in case you are in it. There are a lot of security tidbits that we should read about ourselves. Okay, I make my own concoction. I put bleach into a bottle. Okay, but you must also place it in such a way that it doesn't become something against you. Kids go pick it up and whatever. So all these things come into human life. You must be absolutely very, very strict about that. That is number one. Number two, for people that comes, especially foreigners, hiring or renting our places, it is important that we report any suspicious activity to them. But for people that are in hotels, right, one of the tricks to know is that there is this particular guest. He doesn't want room service, doesn't want anything, has stayed there for a very long time. The person is doing some form of criminal activity. No two ways about that. Report him. That one, no two ways about that. Unless the manager knows this person, kakape, this and that. But even that one is even too weird and stuff like that. But make that decision to take it out from there. So we should be reporting suspicious activity to security forces. But in Ghana, be sure who to report to.
So simply, if you see something, say something.
Yeah, we know trusted journalists that we can first confide into before we make some of these things. And we've mentioned some of the names here. Yes, despite what my government has with Manasseh, he has Ghana at heart, and you can trust him and send him your information. You can send your information to Avle. You can send your information to Kwekubako. You can send your information to Evans Mensah. You can send your information to, there are seasoned, trusted people within the system that you can send it to. So it is also important that we take that measure. When you see a criminal activity, don't go and be saying it. Don't go and you will be dead the next day. You get lost.
Right.
When they find out that you are the source of their destiny, if you identify a criminal, find a way to act as if you've not seen them. And then do. When it comes to government have more information than we do.
Correct.
Okay. Before some said, you see, we don't know about terrorism, right? Terrorism is the highest form of criminal activity that can go on in the country because they are either coming to take over or coming to cause a serious problem in the country. Right. So they have information, they've been releasing us. So if they know about terrorism, but they don't know about little stuff in the country, then there's a whole question mark. Our security agencies needs a cleanup. From the national security, the police force, the army, and all that kind of stuff. We hear stories that tells us that clean it up, weed out the bad ones. Now, when you are cleaning the police and you weeding them out, you don't also straight away leave them without attending to them. You see, it is a whole complete thing that you do because you've trained this person, knows how to use a gun. So find alternative way of engaging them because a hungry man is an angry man and doesn't think of anything than himself and any other person is whatever. So that is also very important. Within the security forces, they must also be honest with themselves. You think it is someone else, one day it will come up to you. So they have to. So everybody has a role to play. Journalists must always dedicate one of their desk to investigating criminal activities and bringing them on board for discussion. These things push them to the background and we are able to, expose them and bring their discussion to the fore and take it up from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Those are some solid suggestions there for our security forces, individuals, pastors, people in responsible positions in our country, governments, church leaders, teachers, and even parents to heed to and perhaps bring these issues that we see in our society under control. Let me also bring you in on this one, lifetime legacy. You've heard what if I have to say, what do you have any other things to add? What do you think are some of the solutions that if adopted would help us deal with these issues? Okay, lifetime, I brought you for a second time.
Sorry, my link went off.
Okay, no problem. I removed that one. Perfect. Go ahead.
Yes. So, what was your last question again? Okay.
Also, I was asking that, you've heard what FI has to say about finding solutions among ourselves, including even we, the citizens, that we should be vigilant. If we see something, we should pretend that we didn't see it, but find appropriate ways to communicate to the authorities, people who can really actually do something about it. Whether you're communicating it to a journalist or to somebody who is a religious leader who can then forward it. But he's saying that you talking about those things yourself, or going to the radio, or spreading rumors, or spreading those issues or things you've seen within the community, puts you in danger. That you shouldn't walk by yourself. He talked about the fact that some of the things that the government officials should also do. What other things do you think we should add to that, or what other suggestions, or from your perspective, what do you think are some of the solutions or ways for us to actually deal with this canker?
Alfred, I think the solution we need to adopt now is to go back to our roots, our way of doing things as a Ghanaians. Let's begin to introduce a syllabus that will inculcate in the children that wealth is not all, as far as society is concerned, but hard work and those things give honor than to be rich through a dubious way. So we need to reorient our kids, or the kids in school, because they are the very people who grow to become an adult to create some of these things that we and I are talking about. So it's from onset we begin to inculcate in them the attitude of good value. That will have a long way to go. Secondly, our religious organizations should also begin to reward hard work rather than people who are resourceful. It's very, very important. That is the only way we can get people to know that regardless of whatever your status is within a society, you can be appreciated when you put up a good value. So those are some of the things I think we should look forward for. And the government should also put a package or a rewarding system to appreciate people, if it should be in a national level, people who have distinguished themselves through hard work, people who have distinguished themselves through honesty, people who have been accountable. If we can have a national day of rewarding loyalty, hard work, and discipline.
Right.
So if we are able to do this, that might change the orientation of people, way of doing things, people trying to get rich so quickly. That is the only way we can reach into our first and the Ghanaian value. Alfred, do you know that even right here in US, when you find yourself in the midst of other neighboring countries, like who are also from Africa, the moment you introduce yourself as a Ghanaian, even among the Africans, they have some kind of respect. They have some kind of respect for you. They have some kind of value for you. So much is expected of you. And there are another country, the moment you mention their name, or their name is mentioned, then you notice that, okay, I mean, the atmosphere could change. Because that is how they have branded themselves.
So the perception, we have a better perception about us, a reputation about us, and you believe that the current happenings are likely to tarnish that reputation. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely. So I think we should, if the society want to win itself, as far as Ghana is concerned, if we want to win ourselves from all these criminal elements, we should be able to set a national day of rewarding hard work, people who have distinguished themselves, people who have lived an honest life, not people who have become rich or
Overnight.
entrepreneur like we used to do. No. Let's try to identify the common people who have worked so hard to get to the top. That is the only way I think some of these things can be reduced. And also, the government must take a step going forward to make sure that people who are recruited into the service, a thorough background work is done on them.
Okay. We have a message here from Solomon. Solomon is saying that stomach politicians, corrupt party officials, and unexplained wealth of individuals in public space. Politicians and religious clergy were and are perhaps the bane of our present day socio-economic and geopolitical bottlenecks. So he's putting the blame squarely on leadership within the society. He's saying politicians who become rich overnight. He's saying individuals rich in the public space, and they are the ones that are actually becoming the bottlenecks, the problems in our society. So what I'd like for us to do now is to kind of quickly take a break. But before we do the break, just in sum, what we've learned is that policing is becoming problematic in our country, where in some of the instances of the misconduct, or the ill, or the robberies that we've seen, even the police themselves being the perpetrators. In some cases, the sophistication of the attacks points only to their direction, that it could be them who are actually orchestrating those robberies. And we are saying that the reason these things are happening is that our society has gotten a little bit away from where it used to be. It used to be that when you say you're Ghanaian, people attach your responsibility, faithfulness, and etc. to that label. But now that is fading away because of the instances of politicians, individuals getting rich in society, and kind of showing examples that perhaps our kids and the youth of today would love to emulate, instead of that good behavior which we are known for. Okay, let me take a quick break. Afai, it's good to have you back fully. Let me take a quick break, and then when we return, we want to take a look at e-levy. What is it? We've discussed e-levy several times on this platform, but we want to look at, now that it's been implemented, what are the experiences? What are some of the things that have come up within that implementation, or what are some of the bottlenecks, the issues that we have heard about? We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid health insurance program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back to the show again. This is the Ghana Agenda. The show is on every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. My name is Alfred Amuzu. I'm the host. Today I'm joined by Lifetime Legacy and Afa Amayao, and we are talking about security situations. So we've just finished talking about security and policing in Ghana. Now we are switching to e-levy. And what exactly is e-levy? We've discussed that several times on this program, but what it is e-levy is supposed to be an electronic transfer of money, apart from those excluded by law. So the rate of e-levy has been implemented is going to be a 1.5 or is 1.5% of the amount you are transferring that is above $100 a day, 100 cedis a day. Whereas the government decided to levy electronic transfer, and the government says they are doing so in order to enhance domestic revenue mobilization and We can go on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so let me see. So for instance, even if you pay utilities, or you're paying utility services, your electricity bill or whatever bill, you should not be charged e-levy. Foreign remittance, for those of us who are in the United States who would mostly transfer money to our parents back at home, that should not attract e-levy. Point of sales, if you are dealing with a company that is registered with the Ghana Revenue Authority, whatever payment you make to them should not attract e-levy. Let's say you go and buy a watch and the watch seller is registered with the Ghana Revenue Service, that should not attract e-levy. Okay. So let me bring my guys in here. I don't know if you heard all the good things I said about e-levy.
Everything went up. You just.
Oh, okay. I think you dropped off, and when you came back in, I didn't pull you in. So I went on and on and discussed all the things that should attract e-levy, the type of transactions that should attract e-levy, and those that should not attract e-levy. For instance, if you were paying a government institution, you're paying taxes, it shouldn't attract e-levy. If you were paying from your own wallet to another wallet of a different service provider, you shouldn't be paying e-levy at all. Foreign remittance, like the ones we are interested in, if you're sending money to your mother, your brother, anybody to pay school fees, whatever, that should not attract e-levy. If you were paying to a merchant who is registered with the GRA, that should not attract e-levy. But any other transaction, whether once it's a 600, should attract e-levy. And what we are seeing is that, and even if, for instance, you are cashing in or cashing out, in other words, if you're putting money in your mobile wallet or you're taking money out of your mobile wallet, that shouldn't attract e-levy. Now, since the implementation, we've seen a lot of problems. We've seen situations where individuals who transfer less than 100 were being charged e-levy. We've seen situations where even cash-ins and cash-outs are being charged e-levy. So, and of course, you can apply when you believe that you've been wrongly charged for a refund. But others are saying that there's no system that has ever been rolled out that just went seamlessly smooth and no issues. That the issues we are experiencing will be fixed, so we should be confident. What do you say to that, Afa? Are you one of the people who believe that some of the difficulties we are finding, or we are in with the implementation of e-levy are going to be temporary, that we should have confidence in the system and the system will come back and work perfectly?
Yeah, thank you very much. So the summary is just what you so the charges that were coming, right? It was not across board. If it was a case that across board, then you would say it is the system. It was with some individuals that were reporting these charges. It wasn't like every single one of them, which means somebody was somewhere doing their own thing. People were trying to take advantage of the situation. So it was good that we have a very vibrant population or Momo users who were bringing out all these things. I've had people to call me with transactions that were not charged. Like, they do transactions above 100 that they were not charged. And then you go through the process, ask them, is it a merchant? Yeah, register with this. Yes. Okay. Then that is the reason why. But some of them were not. So it was new. All these challenges were expected, sabotage, people trying to take advantage, people charging people behind the scenes just to enrich themselves or whatever were all. What is important is that, information has been given to you that if you do this, if you do less than 100 a day, if you are, merchant to this, shouldn't be charged. So you've been armed with it. So when you get charged, follow through. I don't think you should just go out there and, it is not, no, go and take your money because it is the law. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. That's how we better the system. That's why we check the system and see who is doing what, and then we take it out from there. That is very important. Now, The second thing that I've seen is the amount of money that is coming in, you know, and the fact that it is like the Ghanaian is now really being taxed, and that this taxation is really to target some other people that we might have thought of, which is the foreigners that are taking a chunk of the money out of the country, because they send the most.
Right.
They chunk out the most. So if all this, you see, if you look at the exemptions, it is in such a way that you can go about your transactions and not get charged. Register with register Momo account, right? Register a merchant account and use that for your transactions, and you're good to go. So people really should not. And for people that are using merchant accounts and people that are doing transactions, you know, they are also benefiting with the presence of e-levy, because before you were paying 1% to the telcos, to particularly MTN. Now it's been reduced to 7.5, and with them, the certain amount of money has also been capped to like $7 Ghana cedis and 50 cents. So this has also brought in more benefits to others, you know. So I've been reading around it, and it looks as if all the misconceptions that were tagged to this thing are not really the case. That you're going to be charged this thing for. No, if you are really, really sure you are not making money, then 100 a day. You know, but if you're doing transactions and you're doing more and all that, you're doing business, and government ought to take a little bit. Now, what I want us to look at,
right,
is pending the legal challenge. These monies are being collected. We've been told that June next year, for me, is too far. Window is my government. June next year, 1 million jobs will be rolled out. We need the details of all these things. Let us follow through. Who are the people in the system that needs the UStart? Okay?
Right.
We should begin to ask for accountability.
Right.
That was why I am in all support of this. So let us not continue to hammer on the problems, but the benefits that we are to get from this, let's begin to be vigilant and ask. This has been collected. So end of the year, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, what has been done with the money?
Right.
That's how we get value for it, and not continue to dangle ourselves in this, continuous. The problems we should highlight, but we are highlighting the problems too much than the money that is being collected and the
so
benefit that
there is a reason for which we are collecting this money, and whether you like it or not. Okay, so the law is the law now, and it's being implemented, and so what we should focus on now is you got our money. What are you using it for? Or tell us, be accountable to us. So the accountability piece is where you want us to concentrate on. Is that
Yes. So, and then when it comes to the accountability, you know, there was the first proposal of jobs, 1 million rollout in June 2023. And I'm saying that is too far.
Too far, yeah.
Too far. June 2023. Say.
We don't need to wait for 2023.
No.
As the money is coming in now, you would expect some.
They're paying into the consolidated fund.
Right.
You know, so June this year, what have we done? June, July, August, September. What have we done? What have we done with it?
Has anybody benefited from the e-levy?
Exactly.
This year, in other words, has any Youth Start program started? When are they going to launch the Youth Start program? What will be the criteria? Who can benefit? Who can apply? Where is the information? Is it published? Where is it should be published? Etc. Which ministry is responsible? Those are the questions to ask.
Yes, we need that. Okay, so we should continue to talk about the issues that are popping up. Okay, we should continue to talk about the issues that are break them. But for me, the money that has been collected, what has it been used for? How do we source it so that the Ghanaian will see? Because this is very specific. Okay, we said infrastructure, digitization, and employment.
Right.
Three, not two a year.
Funds have been earmarked for specific.
Yes. So June this year, we shouldn't wait for 2023 June. No, too far. This one right now, upon Chenam, you have no one quite we are the chef fridge my then. So once the thing is the fufu is prepared. Come on now. Before we hear other stories.
Okay. Wonderful. I'll come back to you in a minute, but let me go to a lifetime legacy as well. Lifetime legacy. You've heard, the summaries that I've given already. I know the concern out there that the NDC case about the improper way in which the bill was passed that case is still in the court, and we are waiting for the Supreme Court to decide on that. But FI is telling us that the focus shouldn't necessarily be on the issues, whether e-levy is properly passed, whether it should be repealed, and all of that, especially even knowing that the former president promised that when he comes to power, he's going to repeal it. Until he comes to power, right now, we need some sort of accountability. That's what FI is saying. FI is saying that, tell us what you've done with it in the month of May. Tell us what you've done with what you've collected in the month of June. Do you agree with him?
Alfred, I don't expect Ifa to say anything different than what he has said. He was mentioning the success of the program or the e-levy, but failed to mention the challenges that people are going through, and the dramatic reduction of people who have stopped using the service because they are trying to avoid charges, including myself. Before this bill was passed, this bill was through dubious means passed. I used to pay people from my bank account to their mobile money and all that other stuff. But since this bill has been passed, I'm finding a way around it to still meet my obligations without necessarily paying the e-levy.
Why are you not interested in contributing to the development? Because one of the goals, as we read out, is that the e-levy is being charged to enhance domestic tax mobilization, but also to provide an opportunity for everyone to contribute towards national development. Why would you not want to do that?
Alfred,
if you want a better Ghana with police forces that are responsible, cleaned out, that is delivering on a social good of the people, all those things have to be paid for in one way or the other, so that the police are not there. If they are properly paid, hopefully they wouldn't be up there executing all these sophisticated robberies that we are discussing today.
Alfred, you agree with me that the kind of taxes we are paying in this country is so huge, but you and I don't complain or feel it because of the kind of services we are getting from the tax we are paying, the returns we are getting.
Right.
If that is the situation back home, paying tax or paying for the e-levy wouldn't be a problem. Okay, Alfred, this government have got seen so much in 6 years once they were in office. So now they have something meaningful, something tangible, something monumental to show off. So if 400 billion that they have gotten, or 300 and something billion they have gotten over the last 6 years, could not do what they intend to do with the e-levy money, what is the guarantee that the e-levy, that the money they will be accruing from this will be able to do what they are now promising to do? So for me, it is just a way to collect the Ghanaian money, securitize it, and then go back and borrow and get what they have to get. That is all that it is. Okay. So like I have said, I'll find all ways and means, which I know Ghanaians, a lot of Ghanaians are also doing. People are avoiding paying it. The number of people who use the service have reduced. They know, Ifa himself know, that Ghanaians are now even conniving with the agents to bypass the service or the process, where people are no longer transferring money from their mobile phone. They go to the merchant send the money to whoever they want to send it for free of charge without paying a fee. You see, so this is not a productive tax. This is disincentive tax. The earlier the government do something about it, or the earlier the government stop about it and find different way of generating money, the better for them. Other than that, Ghanaians will continue to find an avenue of avoiding this money, the payment of the e-levy, like I have done. I'm trying all ways and means to avoid payment of the e-levy because I know at the end of the day, it is not going to be a proper venture. It is rather going to enrich the president's appetite for luxury and the president's appetite for extravagant life. That is all that they are going to intend to use the money for. So for me, I am not motivated, I'm not encouraged, I am not convinced because to whom much is given, much is expected. And so far, what they have given us over the last year, the last 6 years, and vis-a-vis what they have gotten as a resources, they have nothing to show about. And the e-levy, I don't expect the e-levy to be the game changer. So for me and myself, like other Ghanaians, will find a way of avoiding it.
Okay. Okay, great. Now let's talk about securitizing the e-levy. And what I mean by that is we've heard, it's been speculated that the government is willing to take that stream of money that we would be getting as e-levy and go and borrow money against it. That's what we mean by securitizing it or mortgaging it. Some people call it collateralizing. This has been done to Get Fund. It's been done to ESLA. And, there are efforts, I'm sure, by the opposition to avoid that. One of which is that the Supreme Court has asked the revenue authorities or the government to keep all records of the e-levy until the rule on the case of the improper manner in which the legislation was passed. With that in mind, the government is not likely to do the collateralization immediately. They would have to wait until such a time that
Alfred
it's done with. Because should it be decided that the manner in which it was the bill was passed is improper, it would mean that the bill has it's null and void, which means they have to refund all the payments that they've already taken. Yes.
With the way these judiciary have
So let me ask
conducted.
your question and then you can take it away, and then I'll bring it. So my question is, we don't need money right now. We need money to do things right now, and perhaps the government is trying to do the securitization so that we can use those funds right now to develop our infrastructure, roll out the jobs that they are promising. Because, we expect great things and we need to pay for them. Do you not agree that any effort to, not make these funds available to the government will only add to our problems? Because without it, we were only going to have IMF as the only option available to us if we didn't do e-levy. Why would we do e-levy and then refuse the opportunity that it has presented for the government to actually use it to generate a larger sum of money to execute the current projects that we have? We have Agenda 111 that they're trying to execute. Even though it's not part of the things that the e-levy has been earmarked for, I'm sure if they go to the market and are able to leverage the revenue streams to generate significant amount of money right now, they could use it to troubleshoot some of the problems that have become the bane of our economic rigidities. What do you say to that? You want to go first, and then I'll bring Lifetime in. Otherwise, Lifetime we can take it over.
Alfred, our judiciary, the least you say about the judiciary As far as this e-levy and the dealing of this government is concerned, the least the better.
Right.
You see, the judiciary, when you look at the ruling they gave recently regarding to the e-levy, as you just mentioned, it is just to postpone their shame. For me, that is how I see it. To postpone the kind of embarrassment.
You want to be careful what you say about them, though. But what do you mean by they just try to postpone their
I
shame?
will explain that. They are only doing this to postpone the kind of shame and embarrassment as a feedback they'll get from the general public. I won't be surprised that they will come back in their next ruling to say that the government is legitimate and they should go ahead and take it. We have all known the track record of these political judges sitting on these cases. We know how politically they have been from ever since this government appoint them or this government send them to office. So they are just doing the kind of ruling they gave recently. It just water the anger of Ghanaians down, so that whenever they come to do the right judgment by saying that the government should go ahead, there will not be so much agitation, there will not be so much angry from the citizens. So they are just doing this to water the temper of the Ghanaians down. Like I said earlier on, I don't expect this government to do anything differently. Their intent is known. I won't be surprised that efforts have been underway to do what they intend to do, knowing very well that, like Chairman Sabosu and the Attorney General told us, this case will not go anywhere. It is true, it will not go anywhere. But the most important thing that, for me, you and I, including IFA, should be worried of is that this useless government is piling debt for generations yet unborn to come and inherit. It should be of a concern to all of us. And regardless of whichever political party you belong to, when that time comes, it is not going to be paid by only NDC people's children or MPP people's children. It is a debt that will swallow the entire Ghanaian, regardless of which political party you belong to. So if my brother Ifa, instead of speaking against this daylight thievery, daylight robbery, people think that they are legit to rule country, the Ghana, and because they are not getting the chance and they've gotten it now, they have to steal from what their forefathers have come to steal. They have to do double what their forefathers did, and they are robbing us. Whilst others are using gun, they are using the law to rob us. And my brother Ifa and his likes will not see anything wrong with it. Austerity will be all of us our judge.
All right, perfect. Ifa, what do you have to say to the fact that we are doing everything possible to make sure the e-levy is not collateralized? People say collateralizing it is tying the hands of the government again, and making it possible for the next administration to want to make a policy decision with that tax handle. What do you say to that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alfred. So e-levy is not robbery. It hasn't been, and it will never be. It's tax that being collected for the good people of Ghana for development. So let us get that. The target, see, we still want to go into this tag thing. You said this the same the other time I told you. You said the same thing with the talk tax. That you will peel it, you take it off, but you increase it.
It is robbery, my brother.
It is money generation.
It's a robbery.
In fact, I've already gone on a challenge with you. I think $10,000, right? We have to give that money to this thing. When you come to power and you take this money, take that 10,000, you won't change it. This is not.
I'll be glad to accept this bet.
You can continue to run on that.
But
it's not going to happen. If you are still looking for ways, to bring in more money, and you were pleading with Ghanaian.
I think you're going to lose that challenge, though, because it's easy for the next administration to repeal e-levy and impose something completely similar and call it a different name, because politically.
Exactly. So that is what they're going to do. If that is what they're going to do, electronic charges that attacks Momo, that's fine. They can repeal it and then call it another name. Okay, that I understand.
Creative way of doing it, yeah.
In that case, that is fine. Just find another name for the dog and hand it. That's fine.
So I wouldn't be making that you are making if I were you. Because thanks
for saving my 10,000. Next time you come here, I'll give you something with a big front and big back so you can appreciate.
Oh no, don't do that.
So on a more serious note, we're still on e-levy, right? What was your question again? You threw me off.
You know, the collateralization.
Yes, after the collateralization, I don't like it. You know, the money comes, let us use it. But the other aspects of collateralization is also very good, that you are expecting this chunk of money. If you can get this and then work with it, that helps. But not for e-levy. So I am completely against any form of collateralization and whatever. You know, I know what
collateralize. What benefits do we really see in the chunk of money they receive? You know,
it helps. If you look at the GET fund, right? The GET fund was securitization or collateralization. I think it's they kind of use those same words to confuse.
Yeah.
So with the GET fund, they were able to, I think we're expecting some 1.5 billion or so in there. So they were able to get that money. And based on that, they were able to put up all these structures. But when you go for that one, right?
What structures?
The structures in the various secondary schools. You know.
Okay, so this is against, and not necessarily politicizing it, but this is against. This is against.
Okay.
Day schools, without necessarily collateralizing, and then you come in, you collateralize, and still the infrastructure in the secondary schools are in bad shapes. You know, I mean, they might have put in a couple of dormitories here and there, but nothing significant.
So for the purposes of us doing justice to the topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we just simplify it like, it's not a match. You see, it doesn't say anything to it. Okay. So we have said, as at the time we were coming into this the second administration, that we provided over 1,000 various structures, classroom blocks, dormitories, you know, assembly halls, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And that has helped ease the pressure, you know, that the free SHS brought on board. So we don't just, you see, all we need to do is to look for the number, blah, 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 they are here. And then we do the maths, because that is how you do the justice to the topic. So if we simply say E-Block, as against this, E-Block had funding for, I think was it about was it 52 or 38 from the World Bank fully paid? You know, that was what we had funding for. The rest didn't have any funding for them. Okay, so let us situate it in its context, and if we just say that it's not, and more so, you see, if you have to Achimota, okay, if Achimota school, if they get a dormitory, they will be able to get 200 more people. You want to go start afresh somewhere. You know, you start afresh somewhere when you have, you know, taken care of all this. And there were projects that has been there for years, starting from Kufuor's time. So you want to leave all of that and then go and start afresh somewhere and all that kind of stuff. It makes no sense.
So far, it does make sense. Why? Because, you know, in Achimota, when you get the dormitory, You don't only need a dormitory. You're also going to need to expand classroom. You're going to need to expand dining hall. You're going to need to recruit more teachers. But we are saying that when you do it in the community where the students already live, which is what we see in the United States here. High school is not strictly boarding house system. High school is you go from home to school, come back home. If you put schools in the community, it makes it easier for especially the kids that even help their parents while still, they can still continue to help their parents while they still go to school. Just like, you know, they do in most countries. And that was the concept. You wouldn't need to build dining halls. You wouldn't need to build dormitories. All you need is classroom teachers and you're good to go. That would quickly spread access than if you were just expanding the arch mortars.
You wouldn't need dining halls in a day school.
No, you don't. What do you need dining halls for?
What would they eat?
They will eat stones. I'm just kidding. But they would. I mean,
but on a more serious note, we believe that there are existing schools that needed. You know, Ghana, we had about 700 or so, about 800 secondary schools. Okay, spread out everywhere in the country, and most of them needed facilities. Project had already been started that needed completion. You see, this idea of I am coming and I'm coming to do fresh one so that I'll be tagged this. These are things we should kick off. The existing ones are facing challenges. Okay, the dormitories are not. They need more classrooms. They need to expand.
That's what the Get Fund was doing, right? That's what the Get Fund was.
There's a difference in policy and stuff like that. So you can continue to stick on to this, but we didn't think it is important. We didn't think that you need to provide all the facilities before you roll out everybody to go get into school, and we've done it. So that is what. But having said that, I am completely really against collateralization. Well, let the money come. Let's see how much we have. Let's use it for what, and then we take it out from there. We've done a lot of collateralization. Let's plan for the future. This is how much you are able to do based on what has come in, and then we can take it out from there.
Okay, so let me ask.
I don't want to hear e-levy collateralized. Let
me ask a follow-up question. Knowing this current Minister of Finance, you know he's going to collateralize it. What could be done to prevent that, to stop him from that?
There is little we can do other than, you know, to just vent our position to it and then, you know, see where it's taken from. You know, let's rip in the money.
Maybe you should call a parliamentarian that when it comes to collateralization, first of all, it should be required to be brought to Parliament for approval before that happens. Second,
I don't know if he needs parliamentary approval.
See, these are the type of issues.
If he does, the opposition will even help us do it. You see, they've always been helping. Though. All they're doing this thing is complete noise. Yeah, they're whipping up their base. But you check. They will help us do it, and then go and say we don't agree. Oh, but go ahead. We don't agree. Go ahead. We don't agree. We can't work with stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, having said that, I'm opposed, but it may happen, it may not happen, because he did not really give a concrete. He said he cannot assure. So it is up to us to keep putting into this thing that let it come. Okay. We are targeting. It was 6-point-something billion. It was revised to 4.5 billion, right? So let's even say we get 4 billion. Okay, 1 billion each quarter. You have 1 billion each quarter, 300 million for each. So 300 million for 300 million for digitization. We need to strengthen our cyber security and all that. Use 300 million in a quarter. You think it's more money? 300 million Ghana cedis for road infrastructure. That is huge money. 300 million Ghana cedis for what is the other? For the U-Start. If across the length and breadth of the country, we're going to divide this money based on the democracy, the demographics of unemployed. 300 million. That's not small money.
Well,
so
what you're saying is, I mean, we are like 21 days into implementation, and you are asking for the blueprint, something in front of us, right? To say that this is exactly how we're going to use this money.
As for the 2023 June to launch this thing is too far.
Right.
No, it's too far.
It's even make a mockery of the whole program.
Like we are not ready, but I know we are ready. Have the statistics. We know that our shortfall. We know that our shortfall. We know what to do in digitization. We know what to do. We know the rules that we need. You know where we need, and this is across the length and breadth. The in not the villages. Yeah, more inner roads with e-levy. We are not going to wait for 2023. No. So let's ask for the blueprint right now. Let's set the criteria. Let people apply. It's for Ghanaians. Okay, so we can get it. Collateral, I'm opposed to it.
All right. Okay, great. So it's about 3:50, 10 minutes more for us to wrap this up. Let me give you the opportunity to give us your last word and anything else that you wanted to add to the discussion today that perhaps fell, through the cracks. This will be a good time to tell us any other thing you're thinking about, whether it's about e-levy or the police, nicely wrapped in your last words.
Oh, where is Lifetime Legacy? It fell off.
Lifetime Legacy is having some technical issues there. He just
okay, that's fine. So yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Today has really been rough a little bit. I've been doing two things at the same time, so forgive me for whatever if it didn't go distant. But I love the two topics that you brought. First is the police. The police are the first point of approach. They take care of our immediate security needs in the country. The military comes in when things go off. There's the need for them to take some action. Now, having said that, it is important that we hammer home the fact that in recent times there has been a lot of reports about the police that is not pleasant, and yeah, we had them take care of some issues, but the more certain things happen and the actions they take tell us that they still have a long way to go and they need to do a lot of internal cleaning. Okay, we have all these internal agencies and internal committee that is supposed to take care of professionalism, but what is happening is that they turn themselves, some of them have turned into murdering gang within this thing, and they're murdering Ghanaians for their own selfish criminal activities. It is very important that we weed them out. If you are in Ghana and you know of any criminal police gang, give them out. And I've given you the names of people that will keep your confidentiality secret. If you don't trust anybody, trust some of the personalities in the media. Give it to them. Give them as much information as possible. But when you give information to these professionals, know who you're talking to. Don't just talk to anybody. Okay, you can ask on the various platforms that you are, and you're gonna get the numbers of these Bernard Avle. See, you're a very, very respected guy, young, and he's gonna bring a lot into the Ghanaian fold. Anybody that you trust that can keep your distance, but don't go out and be bossing about. Let us take security into our own hands. You are the first person to protect your first before the police come in. The police will only come and meet a situation that they can take control. But if the criminal is going to kill you, he's going to finish you up. If somebody is going to steal your thing, he's going to steal it. You can only get aftermath. Aftermath may be good or bad. So take care of let us be security conscious and security vigilant. If you see something that is not really adding up, make a call somewhere and give as much information as possible. It is the duty of all of us to protect. The government and the agencies put in charge to ensure that Ghanaians are secured ought to do more than they are doing. We are not just putting them on the ground and bashing them. We are not saying they've not done anything at all. They've done something. They've done great. They've kept Ghana intact. But reports are coming that within them there are criminal elements, and it is important they work. In fact, on e-levy too, yes, a great and innovative way of adding on to our taxes. We've implemented it and we've seen the challenges that are coming. Let us continue to, better the system and collect the money and use it for development. And the money that is coming in, collateral, no. Let us see how much we gather and how we are pushing it and push it into the various sectors. It has to be as immediate as possible so that, the infrastructure, in terms of digitization and roads, and the need for us to employ our youth, the good people of Ghana, will be realized. And we can always point to it that e-levy did this and e-levy did that. Okay, so let us continue to push the government to do these things for us. It shouldn't be left to them to wishing them they fail, and then we come here and bash it. If they fail, Ghana has failed. If everything goes on well, we have gone on well. So having said that, I want to draw a conclusion to today's program and say that if you want the best government that can give you, free SHS, ambulances, ID cards and all these good stuff that is important for the development of the country, don't look all further. Don't look at issues of doom, so IMF and somebody that will come and tell you that I can't employ. Look at the situation and tell you that, yes, I am capable of handling this. I'm not going to hand over the country to someone else. And that is none other than the New Patriotic Party, where right now somebody too popped up and it has become news. I was thinking one of these days we were going to discuss the presidential aspirants and see, the new incomings that are causing this thing here and there. But all I'm saying is that MPP all the way 2024. Let us see that party 2025 so that we can continue to deliver to the good people of Ghana. Thank you.
By the way, who's that new person you're talking about?
Oh, you haven't heard in the news somebody popping up for MPP?
I know Communal Japan is interested.
Kennedy Japan.
Yeah.
They are compre command. And I've been getting calls and I'm telling them I don't have no comment.
Is it the one you're about? Okay.
Look at the presidential aspirants and make your decision. Okay.
Yeah, me, I'm actually gunning for Patrick Eboama. Is it Eboama? Patrick, what is Patrick's name? He's
MPP.
He's MPP, but he hasn't declared yet. It's a young man.
Patrick Boama.
Yes.
Hey, I haven't heard though. Send me some articles about him.
Hold on. Let me pull him up. Patrick. He's an MP for Okaku. Yeah, Patrick Yaoboama. I think
one of the MP for one of the Okakwis.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is breaking news to me.
Man, I think you should go for it. It's a young man. Hasn't made a lot of noise. Very, well behaved. You wouldn't hear too much about you, but
yeah,
it's very.
The young one. We need the freshest to come on board, and then we see how it.
Fresh blood, the old people. We've seen the baggages that they came with, and it's time to kind of shake it up a little bit.
A first last comment indicates that the old man has failed, so he's a young man. Thank you for admitting.
You did not say that, but
I haven't said anything like that.
Right. Okay. So, Life of Legacy. Thank you so much for coming in today, and I really appreciate you for stopping by every week and doing but the best for your party.
Now, Ifa is now supporting. He's no more supportive of it.
But we gotta make time to make this work. Thanks.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Ifa is no more supporting Baumia. He's now going for Canada, Japan.
All right.
I don't have somebody I support. Don't put me into trouble, yo.
Well, I hear people comparing Kennedy to Trump, and so we'll see. It looks like.
Did you mention his name? He mentioned all the name. Kennedy Akompe Ohini Japan.
There you
so
go.
The way he pronounced the name, mention all the other names that we don't know of, should tell you something.
I can't imagine the presidency of Kennedy Japan, though. We'll see.
Because you said who? You haven't heard. And you mentioned Kwabena Japan. Kwabena Japan is their former distance. So I wanted to clarify it. I wasn't. You think I don't know Dr. Baumia's name or what?
Right. I am throwing in the Yaoboama version as well. Yes.
You see how you mentioned their name shortly. The other three you have just mentioned, compared to the way you mentioned Canada, Japan.
So you think there's some affinity there now? All right, let's wrap it up. Lifetime Legacy, please give us your last word. Anything, thoughts that perhaps may have fallen to the crack that you would like to share with us?
Alfred, thank you once again. As the accounts will say, when you be a wasia your Bono East, to wait if you don't have anything to give to your mother-in-law, you don't steal the little she has. Akufo-Addo, we are begging them. For now, it is clear and obvious that there's no legacy is left in for Ghanaians except debt. We are begging him that the debt is living for the future generation is becoming too much. You should just concentrate on the little that what they have gotten so far. They should be enough for them, and leave the rest for the future generations to come and inherit. On the issue of the e-levy, once again, I encourage Ghanaians that, as the saying goes, if you want to know how the evening is going to be, look at how the morning was. This government have gotten so much; they have nothing, absolutely nothing to show. It is the same way the e-levy will go. So Ghanaians, you have an option to opt out for reaching the president's luxurious way of living, like Arabian King. I have decided not to pay, and I still insist that I will not pay until the law is repealed. On the issue of the security, also the government have a responsibility of making sure that they win the bad nuts within the security services, both the military and the police and other agencies within the country. Ghana is where we all come home, and we want the nation to be safe for all of us. So they should stop recruiting the invisible forces, the Delta forces, into the police service. They are the people committing the very crime we are discussing over here. If they don't do that, and they continue terrorizing Ghanaians, it will get to a time they will extend the very treatment they are giving Ghanaians today on them when they have nobody to chew. So they have a responsibility of winning out the bad nuts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lifetime Legacy. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ghana agenda for May 21st, 2021. If this is the first time you're watching this, please share the link. Week by week, we come on this show to share our thoughts and ideas of how things should be done in a way to progress the course we are all on, which is to develop and make Ghana a better place. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. If you are interested in any topic or want us to discuss anything in particular, please share with me at ghanaagenda@gmail.com. ghanaagenda@gmail.com. Please shoot me an email or post something on Facebook under any of our videos, and we'll pick that up and discuss in the coming weeks. In the meantime, be safe, enjoy your weekend. We'll be back next week. If it is Saturday, 2 p.m., it's Ghana Agenda time. My name is Alfred Amuzu. Today I was joined by Lifetime Legacy of the NDC and Afa Amayao of MPP, the Communications Director. We'll be back next week. Please enjoy your weekend. Goodbye for now.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid health insurance program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.